Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and while it's my journey to play the new PokeMMO JOHTO PTS and learn as much information as about it, it's also my goal to actually transfer that information into videos and into content. And I'm fortunate enough that someone within my Discord shared quite the bit of information. A man by the name of JOHTO did a rip of all the PokeMMO spawns on the PTS, and there's no hordes currently live on the PTS. Now, that is obviously subject to change once the main server goes live. I'm sure that hordes will actually be obviously in the mainline Johto game once it's launched to the official servers, but this is a big deal because it shows us all spawn locations. This essentially shows us, without even having to play the game, without having to unlock stuff, what shiny hunts, what money making methods may be viable. It may not be 100% accurate. It may be super subject to change. Keep all of this in mind, but it's still a massive deal and gives us a huge idea of what's to come. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and download this file and actually sort through it. If you want to access this yourself and go through it in great detail, I recommend it. You can actually come to my Discord server, go up to news right here in the welcome section, and then go to this post and then follow that link over to general and click this download. It's literally just a text file. You can just view it as a notepad.txt or whatever. All right, and here it is. Here's actually the text file / document itself. And obviously, it's not a pretty thing to look at, but at least it's pretty self-explanatory. We see the Pokedex number, we see the name of the species of the Pokemon, the location where it's caught, type, so this shows like day / nighttime, etc., min level, max level, and rarity. The really only things we have to worry about here, to like the most point, is the name and the rarity. That's mostly it. We're looking for like species of Pokemon, and then at the rarity, which is it is now encountered at. So we're gonna stroll through this list, and I'll do it with you guys. We'll look for cool stuff. Now, thankfully, we can just go straight to the bottom. Most of the cool stuff, I'm gonna be honest, it's just at the bottom. Let's go ahead and go right to the bottom and show you guys. So at the very bottom of the list, let me actually scroll this up. There we go. Perfect. Now it's a big, bulky thing of text, but it's what we got. Electivire lores, Tangrowth lores, nothing really important here. Tyranitar lore, okay. Pupitar, very rare encounter. Larvitar lore and Larvitar rare encounter. Nothing crazy here, but it's just new alternative locations that might be better. We're not sure yet. And here's one of the biggest bombshells. Miltank being a common single encounter. That's a really big deal in my opinion. I think this implies a very high chance of a possible future horde. I think this is really crazy. It makes a lot of sense. I would love a Miltank horde. I've been wanting a Miltank shiny for a long time. It's like my second most wanted egg shunt right now after Cranidos, but obviously after this it wouldn't be an egg shunt, which is a massive deal for me, saving me months and months of time, as well as like 120 to 150 million Pokeyen if this gets a horde. So that would be big news, which I could definitely see that. That's incredible. Okay, let's actually keep going through it. We see Magmi, nothing super crazy. Tyrode lore, that's always important / interesting. Smeargle, nothing crazy. Stantler, Donphan. I don't think Donphan / Phanpy actually has a horde yet, which is kind of hilarious to consider. So if Donphan got a horde, I think that'd be really cool. I think Phanpy has a ×3. I'm trying to think. I think Phanpy has ×3. I guess Donphan has a ×5 that's shared with 2 other Pokemon that also might be daytime dependent in Victory Road Kanto. But I don't know how reliable that is. I guess it's not terrible. Move on. We see a Starmie rare encounter added. Another one of the biggest ones, Delibird. Delibird being common. I'm pretty sure in the original games, or at least in the original PokeMMO game, I think the best way to shunt Delibird is an egg hunt, if I'm not mistaken, maybe repel trick. I don't think there's any easy way to do it. So the fact that that could get a ×5 horde when going from a rare to a ×5 is a massive deal. It's a massive deal. Another one of those shinies that I would love to hunt. That's up on my list. It's up on my high priority list for sure. We see Corsola. Now, Corsola is already a fishing encounter, but these all require the rods, so I'm not seeing any change. I don't believe there's any change to that difficulty. Ursaring, Victory Road, Ursaring. We see a bunch of Ursaring encounters. Teddiursa, Sneasel. A lot of these are ×5 hordes already. Quillfish, a fishing Pokemon. We see, here we go, Granbull and Snubbull. These could be interesting. We see Snubble uncommon, some uncommon encounters, a rare encounter, some rare uncommon encounters, just rare and lore for Grand Bowl, excuse me. Hilariously, it doesn't seem like they're doing a Snubble horde, which, I mean, fair enough, more power to them. I definitely thought it was one of those like middle ground Pokemon that definitely could get a horde. It's not one that many people hunt, but hilariously, Snubble's an egg shunt, from my understanding, which is crazy because it doesn't seem like one of those Pokemons that should be worth, if you look at Snubble compared to Beldum, who's gonna, pay 150 million Pokeyen to egg hunt for Snubble? Not many people, but those people might be very cool. I think it's a pretty cool little personality meme, little show of, hey, I like Snubble. I think it's neat. Anyways, moving on. Very rare Dunsparce encounter. Not important. Fortress lore is interesting. Fortress and Pineco are surprisingly rare shinies to get. Once again, kind of egg shunt methods. Girafarig, we have hordes for that, ×3. Uncommon here. Once again, a lot of this is speculation. If I've mentioned that clearly enough, a lot of this is speculation since we just don't really know anything yet without the actual access to hordes. This is just, essentially be like, oh, this is going from very rare to very common. Maybe it's also a horde. Maybe, maybe something else in the middle. Maybe the Snubble one will get a horde and the other ones will not. They'll just be single encounters. But the thing is, even if they go from their current rates to these very common single encounters or common single, that's a huge deal on its own, So I think that's a big enough change to warrant, like, oh, now I can shiny hunt this Pokemon, essentially. I know I'm saying that for a lot of these encounters. Yanma rare, that's a huge one. People are saying doesn't seem like there's any new Yanma location, which is kind of shocking, but at the same time, honestly, kind of cool. Very very tough shiny to be able to get. Politoed, Hoppip, Ozumel. Let's keep going down the list. Ampharos, Lore, Flaffy. This is a big one. A lot of people were expecting a lot of new Mareep locations. Including, common, uncommon single encounters. That this very possibly gets a nice big chunky early game horde similar to like ×5 Marl or something. Togepi lores, Cleffa lores. Nothing super interesting. Lantern, Chinchou. This is also my first time sort of going through this in depth. I saw some of the big ones, but I haven't gone through this in depth. Ledybus, Spinarak, Noctowl, Hoot. Sentret's one. Sentret got some very common location encounters. Hilariously, before this, it was an uncommon single encounter hunt. That was the best way to go for shiny Sentret / Furret. Once again, one of those really obscure Pokemon you wouldn't think to be a rare hunt, but it actually is. Now, it being a single encounter, very common hunt is a massive difference between it being a single encounter, uncommon hunt. So will this get a horde? I don't know. Will it stay single very common? We'll see. I think either way would be super fair. Now we see some interesting stuff. So we see the Quilava, Cyndaquil, Bayleaf, Chikorita, Totodile, Crocodile, all these guys. It'll be interesting to see what other Pokemon are at places like Tojo Falls, what other Pokemon are at places like Route 45, Route 48. It's not worth, in my opinion, to lure single encounter hunt just for like starter Pokemon shinies like this. It just takes longer than if you were to just egg hunt it on average. However, it's really nice if there's like extra good spawns in that location. So for example, I do a hunt in game in Hoenn, in actual PokeMMO, that has like Marsh Stomp. But the reason I'm there isn't for Marsh Stomp. It's like, oh, if I get it, that's awesome. But it has shiny Tropius, it has shiny Absol, and Kecleon, which are all all rares. Tropius being an uncommon single encounter there. So it's, a bunch of rare locations in one location end up making it a good location to actually shunt in. Now, we see a lot of Dragonite lures here. Look at this. There's like 3 Dragonite lore locations, which is a lot. It's kind of interesting. It's one's in the water, one's with Rod, I believe. Yeah, Super Rod versus Water. Okay, moving on. Dragonair and Dratini. Dragonair we see at Dragon's Den with lore. Dratini. We see a Dratini uncommon. We see a Dratini very common. Will this make it to the mainline servers in the mainline game? I don't know. I think it's possible, honestly, at this point. It'd be kind of crazy if shiny Dratini, Dragonair, that whole line goes from being like one of the most coveted rare fish and shinies to this. Well, the issue is it's almost not on the GTL. The issue is Dragon Spiral Tower just ends up being one of the most farmed payday spots in the game, and it ends up being the most botted location in the entire game. Even though bots are really not much of an issue, the fact that they just all go there really hurts the Dratini economy. You'll know if you look on the GTL on the mainline game, they're like 6 to 8 mil for a shiny Dratini, which is crazy when it can take like 1,000 hours or something on average. I forget the math, but that's nuts to me. That's nuts to me. It'd be crazy to get a very common encounter, but honestly, it wouldn't be like out of the blue. A very common Ditto encounter as well is interesting. I wonder if that'll shake up the metagame for where to hunt Ditto. That would be a big deal. Okay, Gyarados, Magikarp. We don't really care about most of this. I didn't expect to go through this many on this list, honestly. I kind of just wanted to touch on some of the big ones and let you guys go through it on your own, but I'm kind of already here doing this, so let's keep going. This is a huge one. Tauros. I forgot about this. People are saying that Tauros might get a ×5 horde. I mean, it has a common single encounter rate. That's a massive deal, where previously it was literally just encounterable in the Safari Zone, and that's a terrible way to shiny hunt something. That's an egg hunt, you know? That's an egg hunt. Going from an egg hunt to a common single encounter is just phenomenal. That's an insane difference. A bunch of rares here that are just lures. Doesn't really change anything. Staryu uncommon. Staryu very common. I think we might already have the Staryu very common spot. That's also fishing. We have it common in the mainline game on water, which is much better. Seeking, Goldeen. Don't really care about these Pokemon. Horsey. This could be a changed shiny. Depends if there is. Yep. Horsey on the water. Very common. This might already exist in PokeMMO. I don't think it does. I think it's a fishing encounter. To go from a fishing encounter shiny to a single encounter on the water top, it's a big deal. It sounds dumb, but it's a big deal. It actually speeds things up tremendously. I think single encounters, you end up getting like around 280 to 300 encounters per hour with lures. I think with fishing, it's like 200 to 220. So you get like 80 more encounters or something with just doing single encounters on tiles versus fishing. Kangaskhan lore doesn't really change anything. Tangela, we have everything. Chansey lore doesn't change anything. We'll keep going through. Nothing being changed here. If I miss anything, let me know. Let me know the shiny you're most excited for in the comments down below as well. The new big change. I think at this point, I'm obviously the most excited for Miltank. Miltank was the biggest shiny for me heading into this, but I'm also excited for Delibird and like Tauros and stuff now. Shelder. I don't think anything's changed here. We'll keep going. I think that's most of the big ones. We see some far-fetched encounters. Could go from being like an egg hunt to a single encounter hunt. A lot of uncommon locations, which is really good. Honestly, I'm down for that. It's kind of funny that Farfetch is an egg hunt at the moment. What else? So Rapidash, Ponyta. None of these are rare. Keep going down the list. Machoke, Abra. Abra has a ×5 hoarding game. We don't need to worry about that. A lot of these Pokemon are pretty common. Once we get higher up on this, so many Poliwag encounters. Rowlith. There could be a new Rowlith horde. We just don't know yet. Golduck, Oddish. None of these are rare. I don't think I'm missing anything. I don't think any of these are going to be rare, if I'm being honest. From this point on, early on in the Pokedex. Like all these guys are pretty much good. Yep, that'll wrap things up. I think that's it. All the big locations I wanted to talk about. I'll make a very succinct video going over the like top 5 craziest shiny changes as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to like it if you did, dislike if you didn't. Follow the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube for daily Pokemon videos and tons of JOHTO content. Follow the Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord link is down below if you're interested in that. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, you guys, etc. Appreciate it. Helps out a ton. And thanks to JOHTO for actually dumping this information. Pretty big deal, and he did it so quickly. So this is awesome. It's been a blast to go through this. It's been a blast to play the JOHTO PTS, but I can't talk no good anymore. So I appreciate it. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey, thanks so much for watching until the very end of the video. I super appreciate that, and if your name is on this list, I appreciate you even more. Thank you so much for going above and beyond in supporting the channel, allowing me to stay full time, and trying to make the best Pokemon content possible. Thanks again for watching.